Okay, so we're going to talk about a stretch of water you've probably never really thought about. But here's the thing, our entire world, pretty much everything we do and use, depends on it. It's called the Strait of Malacca, and you're about to find out why it's so unbelievably important.
Just take a look around you right now. Your phone, that t-shirt you're wearing, maybe the coffee in your mug, the gas that got your car to work this morning. There's a really, really good chance that all of it, or at least the parts that made it, traveled through this one single waterway.
But here's the catch. This place, this vital artery for the entire planet, is also incredibly fragile, and it's one of the most dangerous and vulnerable spots on the globe. That's what we're digging into today. So, first things first, let's get our bearings. What exactly are we talking about here? Let's zoom in on this massive, invisible highway that keeps our world running. All right, so picture a map. The Strait of Malacca is this narrow channel of water squeezed between Malaysia and the Indonesian island of Sumatra. And its job is simple but absolutely critical. It's the shortest sea route connecting the Indian and Pacific Oceans. It's basically the main street for global trade, linking the huge economies in Asia to, well, everywhere else. And this isn't some tiny little canal. We're talking about a corridor that's 800 kilometers long. Just try to imagine that. A constant conveyor belt of the world's goods, stretching almost the length of California, moving nonstop, 24/7. Now this brings us to a really important idea, a choke point. The definition's right there, but what it really means is that ships have to go through here. There's no easy way around it. And that funnels a mind-blowing amount of traffic and risk into one very, very tight space.
So just how much of our world actually flows through this one lane? This is where the numbers start to get a little bit crazy. It's hard to even wrap your head around the scale we're talking about.
Every single year, around 100,000 ships pass through these waters. That's nearly 300 ships a day. It's this constant floating parade of the global economy, from the biggest supertankers you can imagine down to smaller vessels, all sharing the same crowded highway. And what's on those ships? Well, about a quarter, 1/4 of all goods traded in the entire world. Just let that sink in for a second. 1 out of every 4 products that's shipped by sea gets funneled right through here. It's just staggering. But it's not just about the stuff we buy. 1/3 of all oil that's transported by sea passes through the strait. So we're not just talking about gadgets and clothes, we're talking about the very energy that powers our cities, our homes, our industries, the lifeblood of the modern world.
You know, when something is that important, it also becomes incredibly fragile. And this is where the story gets a lot more complicated, as we start to look at the real dangers lurking in this choke point.
And here's the heart of the problem. At its narrowest point, the strait is only 2.7 kilometers wide. That is an incredibly tight squeeze, especially for these modern cargo ships that are the size of skyscrapers. There's basically zero room for error.
So you have this kind of perfect storm of vulnerabilities. First, you've just got the natural bottleneck itself. Second, the constant risk of accidents. I mean, we all saw what happened when one ship got stuck in the Suez Canal. It caused global chaos. And third, this area has historically been a hotspot for modern-day piracy, with criminals preying on these slow-moving, high-value targets.
All of this really highlights how many things can go wrong in one small place. And it kind of begs a bigger question for all of us, right? When you think about everything, geopolitics, accidents, piracy, what do you believe is the single biggest threat to our global supply chains right now? Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear what you think.
Okay, so let's tie all this together. What's the bottom line? The so what? Why does this narrow strip of water on the other side of the planet matter so much to you, to me, to all of us?
To put it bluntly, if this strait were to get blocked for any reason, an accident, a conflict, anything, it would be an absolute catastrophe. Global shipping would grind to a halt, supply chains would shatter, costs for everything would skyrocket overnight, and the economic shockwaves would hit every single one of us, no matter where we live. That's why this is the perfect way to think about it. The Strait of Malacca is the invisible, jugular vein of the global economy. Most of us never see it, never think about it, but our entire way of life depends on it staying open and flowing freely.
The Strait of Malacca is just one of these hidden systems that quietly run our world from behind the scenes. If you want to keep peeling back the curtain and understanding how our world really works, make sure you're subscribed. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.